The Brew House was created to capture and share with you the long history of the Genesee Brewery. But the brewery itself isn't half as interesting as the beer and the people who make it. Visit GeneseeBrewHouse.com. Everyone, and thanks for joining us. This is the original Rochester Press Box presented by the Genesee Brew House. I'm Bill Pucko, happy to be joined this week by two-time Olympian 1992 and 94, Cathy Turner, representing Rochester in the Winter Olympics. Nice to have you in.
Thanks for having
Mike
me.
Mike Catalana, 13 WHAM News, and from WCMF, Pat Duffy.
Hello.
Cathy, look, the Olympics just ended, and my first confession is that I largely missed them. And 2 weeks out, I feel like I did kind of miss something. Were these good games?
From what I've watched, I thought they were great games. I mean, my perspective, I didn't, people assume that because I'm an Olympian that I'm going to watch every sport and every event, and it's not like that. I have my daughter's a level 10 gymnast, so we, of course, watched a lot of the gymnastics and that kind of thing, but overall, I thought it was pretty successful.
It's one of these things. You were in the transition phase when they moved the Winter Olympics from, when the winter and the summers were together, and they had them every 4 years, and then they bumped the winter games up, and then went on a 2-year rotation. I never thought that was a great idea because I liked having them together.
Yeah, but it's kind of nice when you're the only gold medalist from it's like less gold medalists at one time, so you kind of get a little more praise and attention, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it was interesting, and you look at Michael Phelps, you got to give the guy immense credit for coming back and what he did, and now people are already asking him, no, he said he's done, and you went through that too, knowing like, are you going to come back, and then making that decision in the way you were thought of when you decided to come back?
Yeah, you were talking about something earlier, and it made me think, it's like, not everybody was happy me coming back. The second time or the third time for that matter, because there are athletes who, that's their whole dream as well, and, I'm booting them off the team.
They think it's their turn, right?
Kinda, yeah, the parents do anyway. But, I went on and I won again, so I must have done something right.
Listen, basketball, that's really all I watch. Oh, and I fell in love. Have you been watching handball?
Nope.
Handball is all, dude, don't you note me like it's not cool. Handball is the coolest thing I've ever seen. In fact, if there was like a local handball team, I'd totally get involved with it. But the basketball tournament, I know you watched a bunch of it. I thought that was really, really good this year. Australia was fun to watch. Argentina is always great to see. Spain, a little disappointing, but the games are really good. I thought, that was fun.
But I still don't think of the Olympics based on the sports that we watch all the time. Like, I didn't care about the golf. I don't want to watch golf in the Olympics. But if you're going to watch the other sports that are more Olympic, yours was really an Olympic sport. I mean, that's the kind of thing that really grabs attention during that period of time.
And it's your turn to shine, right? I mean, all those sports, summer, winter, whatever, the sports that we don't generally think of, it's really your turn to shine, right?
It's kind of like the only time we shine, when you think about it. I mean, we have world championships, that kind of thing, but it's still not on the tube, worldwide and that kind of thing, so.
Is there a built-in resentment at all, do you think? I mean, just as far as like, this is so great once every 4 years, why can't it be a little more consistent?
It would be nice. I mean, you have to train 4 years and you got to be ready for that. And it would be nice if it was a little more often, you mean? Like maybe that big of a deal? Yeah. Maybe every 2 years, maybe Worlds should be every 2 years or something. I don't know. Something like that.
That would be. We spend so much attention on those little sports every 4 years, like they're really important, like the handball, and all the rest of that stuff. And then they go away and you don't see them again for 4 years.
Right, that's, there is world championships every other year, and the Olympics is the big deal. But yeah, I don't know how you'd solve that.
I mean, isn't that what makes it special, though?
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that I only get it once every 4 years is what makes it so cool. Like, listen, if I could watch gymnastics every Sunday, okay.
Yeah.
But every 4 years, this is awesome. Look at
handball. Handball you would watch every week.
We're going to go have some beers. We're going to watch handball,
Okay.
and you're going to come back and apologize.
And don't you have to say beach volleyball, too?
I didn't watch any beach volleyball.
Really?
Yeah.
That was like the most popular event down there. I mean, just in terms of, they were talking about the whole scene there and the music and the fans, and it was a big party. What a great thing.
I thought it was pretty exciting. I did. I liked it.
This is the original Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House, and we're going to talk about Colin Kaepernick next. The Buffalo Bills Quote of the Week was brought to you by the Rochester Geico Office. Give the Rochester Geico team a chance to see how much you could save on all your insurance needs. Call or stop by the office on West Henrietta Road, open Monday through Saturday. The Geico Rochester Quote of the Week, Carlos Williams. Kind of surprising that he's not here at this point.
Yeah, the Carlos Williams that has those quotes and that we've talked to, and I know you've talked to before, that guy would still be around. It's the stuff he did not do when he wasn't in the public, or I'll say, or doing the interviews, because he's right. It should have been tough for him. I think he was close to a lot of players on the team, but he didn't hold up his end of the bargain in terms of getting himself ready. Otherwise, I think he'd still be on the football team.
Was he made an example of?
I think there was an element to that, but I also think they were looking for him to say, do your part, be in shape, show up at everything, be ready, and add that into, they had some issues, and they just decided, you know what, it's time to cut him loose.
Our Geico Rochester Quote of the Week. At a time we should be talking about the football season coming, it's been a week now, and Colin Kaepernick's dominating the headlines. I'm sure you fielded questions all week about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. 3-4 days in even this week, every time his name comes up, the phones light up. And I don't know, I'm kind of split on this thing because I don't agree with what he did. I don't agree with the physical action of it. But too many times now, today, we see athletes that take stands with no repercussions, right? Like Jordan, for example. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, where, now that he's a billionaire and retired from, basketball, hey, police officers shouldn't shoot young black kids. Okay, you didn't risk anything. Listen, like what Colin Kaepernick has done or not, he legitimately just risked everything he had to bring attention to something, right? I don't agree with the way he did about it. I don't agree with the way he went about it. And there's no way to actually, me and my body understand the way he feels. But I can tip my hat to a guy who threw everything out there to try and get a point across. Okay, we're listening. Do something with it now.
I have mixed feelings on this because I look at it now. I do, to your point, I give him credit because this is backlash, big time backlash. The issue is I keep hearing people say, well, it started a conversation. I honestly believe the conversation it started is, should a guy respect the flag? And it became more about the act than what he was attempting to talk about. Unless I'm missing something, most of the talk has been about Kaepernick. Does he have, I think we agree that he has the right to do it. And there's certain things you have the right to do, but it doesn't mean there isn't a backlash. But I don't see it causing the big conversation that he was attempting to cause. All I hear people talking about is, was he right or wrong to not stand for the anthem? It became this whole referendum on the anthem. I mean, I'm reading people who talk about people who look at their phones during the national anthem and all that kind of stuff that went on with it. I don't know if he got the result that he wanted out of it, but to an extent, he does have the right to do that. And people who are far more, connected with the military and all than I ever am, have the ability to respect to justify what he did because he feels that way and he has the right to do it.
Cathy, the flag and the Olympics and the anthem and all that being on the podium, that's a really big deal. And, it becomes almost a personal matter for you too, right?
Yes. Every time I hear the anthem, I get into my own little world. It means a lot of different things. Of course, it means, to me, the people who sacrificed their lives for our freedom, and that's huge. But to me, it means one of my dream coming true and that kind of thing. So, I think to different people, it means different things. But you were saying he has the right to do that. But you have the right to, throw the finger at somebody too and whatever. But there's also a code of conduct, I think, at least in my sport. So, if I had done something like that in my sport, I don't think... I think I would have gotten penalized.
You see it in
sports. So that's kind of my thing.
You have that theater, you have that stage, the opportunity to do it. Is it misusing that position, do you think?
I just don't think, I don't want my kids emulating that. I don't want my children doing that. It's disrespectful, and that's my opinion.
Well, and that's
where's the line?
But that's to the point I was saying is it's become all about standing up for the flag or not standing up for the flag. But wasn't his point to open up or to talk more about the dialogue of, What he's saying is the disrespect of black people or people of color in this country, and I don't think that's what people are talking about.
No.
I guess the discussion has become, I mean, to what you just said, Kathy, what does the flag mean to you? And in what the flag means to you, you then understand what the rest of this country means to you, which I guess eventually leads to that dialogue. And listen, we're being led along here by the media. They know that keeping this thing moving, I mean, guys like you, the liberal, awful media, Mike Catalana, eventually I think it'll get to where Kaepernick wants it to be. And listen, I mean, it's like you said, you would be punished. I mean, he's going to be punished. He's probably.
Where does he want it to be?
I don't know. And I don't know if he fully understands what this is going to happen, what's going to happen to him and what this was going to be. But he's being punished. I think he's going to lose his job, well, not only because he doesn't play well, but because of what happened here. And I don't think there's going to be a line of people to sign him. I think he's in more of a world of hurt than he understood when he made the first move.
Interesting dynamic that if you think about, Chip Kelly is his coach. Chip Kelly is a guy who was criticized heavily in Philadelphia for holding on to Riley Cooper, a player who uttered the N-word, and then he kept him on the team, was criticized, was referred to as a racist by people, some people publicly. He's Colin Kaepernick's coach. If he releases Colin Kaepernick now, again, football related, a week ago we would have said, oh, Kaepernick could get cut. I don't know. By the time we're doing this, maybe Kaepernick, by the time this airs, he's been released, but I don't think he's going to be. I think he's going to stay on the 49ers.
Yeah, and Cooper lasted 2 more years.
Yeah, and that stayed with Chip Kelly his entire time in Philly.
This is the original Rochester Press Box presented by the Genesee Brew House. Like it or not, when we return.
See New York in a whole new way. Amtrak is offering a 15% discount for all travel inside New York State and to Montreal. Visit Amtrak.com for the See New York discount. Safe, comfortable, affordable, and easy. Amtrak. Enjoy the journey.
Welcome back. This is the original Rochester Press Box presented by the Genesee Brew House. This is Like It or Not, and it is presented by Amtrak Trains. Enjoy the journey. Like it or not, Kathy, Hope Solo.
I think she was just thinking out loud. That's my opinion.
So she's taking the hit, obviously, by saying that the Swedish team was cowardly in the way they played the American women's soccer team.
She's an athlete. I'm an athlete. I kind of felt what she was feeling, that they lost and they should have won and this and that, and they feel they're better athletes and that kind of thing. So I think she was just angry and just kind of spoke out loud.
But we want our athletes to give us honest answers, and then when they do, we hack at them.
But then again, we have to be respectful, I think. So, I mean, we can't go and start swearing out there kind of thing. So there's another fine line, I think.
I find myself 2 weeks out feeling bad for her.
I do.
What?
I do.
Getting suspended for speaking her mind.
First of all, speaking her mind, yes. This was a culmination of things with her. Plus, she's on the older side. So if she was a younger player, I don't know if they would be doing this.
Mike Catalana says somebody gets pushed out for being old. Very upset. Breaking news, everybody.
No, but I'm saying is I think this was more, and plus, it's not going to impact. She can play on her pro team. It's not going to impact her
She's
that
not.
much.
She said she's not playing for the Seattle Reign anymore because she's throwing a hissy fit about the whole thing. Because, like you said, this was a buildup of everything.
Maybe she's really hurt.
Okay, but listen, your husband was pulled over driving drunk in a van owned by the woman.
Right.
Nothing happened to her there. She's arrested for domestic violence after allegedly beating her nephew and sister. Was it sister?
But I see these as irrelevant items to what she's currently facing.
Yeah, but
it's simply for saying the wrong
culmination
thing.
It built up, right? You should have had the suspension for those other 2 things. Listen, Bill, they beat her over the head with a broom handle. This is a true story from police officers. She was so freaked out, they hit her over the head with a broom handle multiple times and could not bring her down. Take your suspension and be classy about it, for God's sake.
She's never been that way, though. Go way back to when, what's the woman's name that was the goalie? Scurry, I think, was the
Brianna
goalie.
Scurry.
And she was the goalie, and she came out and said, if I was the goalie, we would have won. And that was back before she even played. There's a certain etiquette you have with respecting your teammates publicly and respecting your opponent. And I'm sorry, your opponent beat you. They beat you in the game. So that part she doesn't deserve to get suspended, but I think she was the only one on the team who said that.
Duffy, like it or not, Tim Tebow.
Oh, this is awesome. I like it because I'm finding it funny that somebody thinks he can actually play ball. And good for whatever A-ball team lands him. They're going to sell out every game this season. Everybody in the league where he comes is going to sell out every game. But come on, really? You going to play baseball now? Couldn't play football. That was the sport you went with. Now you're going to play baseball.
This is just total vanity.
Hold on. He's a winner. No, I'm sorry. I just had to say that because it gets said all the time in the NFL. No, yeah, it's really attention-seeking, I think. Well, you know, he has a right to go try. It's just most guys would be doing this and you just wouldn't hear anything about it. And then eventually you go, wow, that guy used to play another sport and he popped up and now he's a player there. He'll get some attention. That he will definitely play in places. He'll play in some winter ball. He'll get signed by whether it's an independent league team or something. And if he really does have ability, someone will give him an opportunity at a certain level. But
I respect the Cubs and the A's for being the only two teams that didn't show. This is the original Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House. This portion brought to you by Amtrak Trains. Enjoy the journey. Unfinished Business is next.
I've told you guys, I feel really good about our quarterback situation, including EJ, and I think you know, every time we put him out there, he's done a great job. And you know, we throw the touchdown at the end, but you know what? Sure enough, it's OPI. It is. We extended the hand. It's OPI. So the touchdown's called back, but I really like the way he played. I love the way he competes. Got a great look in his face, man. He loves playing. And guys, you know what? Sometimes quarterbacks take a little longer to develop, and I think this is the best EJ Manuel that I've seen.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brewed coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches for an extra smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Welcome back to the original Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House. This portion, Unfinished Business, brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Pat.
You know, Teddy Bridgewater goes down with the knee the other day, and Bill's Twitter lights up. Let's send EJ out to Minnesota, 7th-round pick. Heck, give them a pick to take EJ with them. The biggest mistake that anyone in that Bills franchise could make this week is trading EJ Manuel for anything. And I'll be honest with you, if I'm Doug Whaley, the general manager, and they offer me a 2, I'm not taking that for EJ Manuel. Because that 2nd-round pick, 3rd-round pick, 4th-round pick next season does Doug Whaley no good if he's not a member of this franchise anymore, which I think he won't be if the Bills don't make the playoffs. Tyrod Taylor's going to miss time, okay? EJ Manuel's a top 10 backup NFL quarterback. And he's a guy that can get you 500, right? Everyone brings up that Jacksonville game last season in London. Oh my God, 3 turnovers, touchdowns. That guy brought everybody back. He won that game walking off the field. It was a defensive breakdown that lost it. The biggest mistake the Bills could make is trading EJ Manuel. Don't do it, Bill.
If you're going to take yourself seriously as a playoff contender, you need a number 2.
Who's better? Who's better right now as a backup quarterback than EJ Manuel?
Anybody?
Thank you. Who?
First of all, no one's offering you a 2. You're not giving the guy away. And
Sure.
honestly, the other night, he looked, I think they're very happy. I think his mechanics are better than they were in the past, which has always caused him problems. I think he's more comfortable in the role as the backup, and I'm with you. First of all, nobody's giving you a high draft pick for him. It would be a bad decision. I don't even think they're considering it.
Kathy, what do you got?
People think that winning the Olympics, gold medals in the Olympics, is really difficult. But let me tell you, the really hard thing is to sing the national anthem in front of like 80,000 people. I mean, you're out there and then they go, cue the singer, and you're like, oh gosh, and you better start in the right key. You better remember the words. And what people don't realize, there's like a 2 to 3 second delay. So usually you have to put your fingers in your ears and push so hard that your ears hurt for days. It's not fun, but you just can't say no. Otherwise, you just got to do it.
It's surprising because you're not a hack at this. I mean, you've had a professional singing career, and that still gives you the nerves. Huh?
It's still, you have to be on. And I mean, you don't want to mess up in front of 80,000 people.
Yankee
You know
Stadium,
what I'm saying?
playoff game you did?
World Series playoff game, Dodgers, the Knicks, not Sabres. I've done Buffalo Bills.
Wow.
God, and the
I tried to hit them
and the
all.
Red Wings Rail Riders. Right? You've covered it all.
But yeah, winning the Olympics was easy compared to that.
All right. Pat mentioned a moment ago Teddy Bridgewater getting hurt the other day. And the immediate reaction I saw from some people was, how it impacts their fantasy football team. Now, look, I understand that there's a portion of that, and right away somebody's looking about their team and all. But this is a guy who injured his knee pretty severely in the game, and his teammates are upset for him. There was actually some real concern right away about his career going forward. I understand that to a lot of people, the players are just different things. They drop in and out on their fantasy football teams. But it did remind me a little bit, these are actually real people. These are people who get hurt. Someone then responded to me and said, well, you talk about a guy getting cut, or you talk about a guy. Players understand that that is part of the game. They get it. And they also know that you play fantasy football. But when you think of these guys just as someone you drop and you pick up, and don't ever consider them as an actual person in pain, knowing his season and maybe his career is over, that's not a surprise to me that sometimes players don't have that much respect for fans who watch the game.
Yeah, it's worth being reminded. Cathy Turner, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
On behalf of Mike Catalana and Pat Duffy, I'm Bill Pucko. Thanks for joining us. Kevin McClelton joins us next week on the original Rochester Press Box.